I have no words. I have no words. Hi, Jay. How are you doing? Hi, Tofu in chat. How are you doing, Herder? Welcome in, Bo, Dan, Brave, Sarybot. Gotta say hello to the bots. We gotta say hello to our future overlords. It's all downhill from here, lads. John the Fisherman Primus. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. Good sleep. I didn't fall asleep until like closer to 2, and I got up really early, unfortunately, Rob. I had a bunny who got scared in the middle of the night. It wasn't great. She had a bit of a nightmare or something. I'm not sure what happened to Bunzo. But she had a fright. And she... Yeah. Takes some time to wind down. It does. It does. It really enforces me to remember why I don't stay up late streaming. Like, I get really riled up. Well, not riled up, but you know, I need my screen time off. I always read or I watch trash TV. I know that's technically TVs, but I need to wind down after stream. Otherwise. I'm very glad to say that the makeup remover did remove my mustache and my eyebrows. Cyberbubba. For the name. How do you say random logic? What does that even mean in English? Let alone feckin' Irish. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, it's a type of fire. Do you know what? I'll tell you what a fire is, Osquelga. Which is, tin? So there we go. Hey, we have streakers in the chat. We have a 5-stream streak and a 70-stream streak. Probably the largest streak I've gotten yet. Well, I'm honored to be the one to have received it. We're doing some maybe interesting stuff today, so I'm definitely going to be tinker-cadding a little bit. And... what should I say about it? We're also going to look at the 3-body problem. I've never really done proper research on the 3-body problem. I just know I've done chaotic pendulums, for example, and stuff like that, which isn't the 3-body problem, but it's just a similar kind of problem. Chaotic systems. So I'm interested to kind of look into it. If you guys are, you know. Race is starting. I have to go. Hopefully we'll see you later, Cyber. 07. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the 3-body problem solutions and stuff. I have the Wikipedia page open. We'll go look into that. We'll do some tinker-cadding. Let me open my Twitch. Oh, my YouTube, sorry. Oh my days. Little Miss. Good morning from the middle of the United States. Little Miss J111 has just supported my YouTube channel with $10. Here is some support for your experiments and your friends. You're so good. Thank you so much. You're too nice. Holy smokes. $10. $10. God damn. That is really, really kind of you. Very, very generous. Really, really appreciate it. And to be honest, after doing my taxes 2 years back to back, painfully, it turns out that, yes, I do spend way too much money back on Twitch. So definitely the money does go into building experiments. Thank you so much for your support. You're very, very kind. Precious. Damn, Sam, thank you so much for your Prime. 6 months. Holy smokes, lads, you all supported me like crazy yesterday's stream because of the 15-hour stream. What in the world are you doing today? So much support from YouTube and Twitch. How long did you stream yesterday? 15 hours? Chat, I also did a terrible thing. And my mods are to blame for this. We didn't give the prediction answers last night. So nobody lost or gained points. I blame the mods. The mods are at fault. Thank you again, Wilmus, and thank you so much, Damsem. Really, really appreciate it. I don't know if you know this, but I read your name always as SCM, like scanning electron microscope. I fell asleep. It's all your fault, random logic. All your fault. How dare you fall asleep during my 15-hour stream? I did a reminder at the end. Did you though? I didn't see it now, Jay. Did I? Did I? Oh, wait, Jay, were you not able to click the prediction outcome? Hi, Fitchecker, Josh, Tetsu, welcome in, everyone. Motorman, hope you're all having a wonderful Sunday. I am honored that you've chosen this stream to spend your wonderful Sunday afternoon. I hope to get up to no good today, as always. What I might do is I might actually print my Tinkercad file and just look at the logistics, do the first prototype. Might be a good thing. Then we'll go back to the 3-body problem, and then we go back to 3D printing again. I think that's a good shout. Oh, you couldn't press it because you were predicting. I see. That makes sense. That makes sense. Let me open this up so you guys can see what I'm doing. I watched for a while yesterday, but didn't message until now. Ah, no worries, John. We really appreciate you hanging out with us, regardless. I wonder about the bridging issue, actually. So I'm going to export this. Summary, again, I did do a little bit of work on this, chat. What is the difference between an OBG and an STL, objectively? I'll use my Creality because my Bamboo has some minor issues that I'm too lazy to fix. It's funny because streaming for 15 hours has to be hard, but staying up and watching the stream for 15 hours is hard too. True. I just have leftover filament that's going out of date, and I only have scraps of it, so I just want to use it up. Especially when we're just doing some crude stuff at the moment. OBG and STL are both popular, but they serve entirely different purposes. STL is universally used for sharing raw geometric shapes, making it the industry standard. OBG is a more robust format used in digital design, animation, and gaming because it supports complex colors and textures. Star, did you just come into the stream with a 425 stream streak? 425. Since the day the streaks have been introduced on Twitch, you have not missed a single stream. So since streaks have been added, I've streamed 425 times, chat. I'm going to reduce the fill because it's a prototype. Wait, how do you know that at the top of your head? Because Star just shared that they have a 425 stream streak, and I remember Star being one of the first people to start doing the streaking when it first got introduced, and Star has never broken his streak since the day he started. So it has been 425 streams since it has been introduced. Detective Tofu, at your service. Hot damn. Hot damn. One bad hole, 10 stream streak. Listen, 3 stream streak or 425, it no matter. Really need to learn more about these settings, to be honest. I'm just going to do 10% with I'm not sure what the best one. Usually it's grid. Is there? It's for structural. Triangles are the best usually for pure strength. Do I need support? I don't think so. Gonna see if I do. No, we don't need support. Hexagons are besticons. Lint, 75 stream streak. Let's go. Tofu on steroids, I doubt it. Hi, Graham. Hi, Lint. Welcome in, welcome in. Sunbeam, I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. As always, thank you so much for choosing to watch this channel, to deteriorate your brain cells every day, just a little bit, with me. I can say that because we're all old. I think, when does our brain stop developing properly? Is it 25? Is it 25 years old, I feel like? There's a new study every week, let's be honest. We can't keep up with all the studies of when our brains begin to deteriorate over time. Clementine, welcome in. We do need support sometimes, I agree. Shit! This is going to take 8 hours to print still. But it'd be a good template to have, to be honest. Even if it's going to take that long to print, we should definitely do it. My concern is, though, that I hate the idea of the 3D printer buzzing in the background. What? Don't listen to Tofu. Your brain continues to be neuroplastic as long as you keep exercising it. Neuroplastic? Does it help that I consume my 3D printing aromas in this room? Does that make my brain more permanent? You had a head start. I was born before leaded gasoline was banned. Wait, was I born? When was leaded gasoline banned? Or it's not called gasoline here. Petrol? Is that the same thing? Petrol and gasoline, actually. I don't ever hear gasoline. The only time I hear gasoline is gasoline. Da, 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 da. That's the only time I hear it. Sorry. So it's only been taken out since 2021 officially. In Ireland since 2000. I'm so honored. You think I was born? You think I was born after the year 2000? You're so cute. You're so cute. That dude who put a layer in the ozone. Quick question: is my stream lagging in any way? So the reason I'm asking is I'm actually downloading a massive file right now in the background. So for efficiency reasons, I've been letting it happen, and my internet is extremely slow. But I'm wondering, is the internet slow for you, lab rats? Stream is good on YouTube. Thank you, Motorman. Say 1, 2, 3, go. Perfect. I think we good. Nice, nice. Okay. So my upload speed is not affected by my download speed, which is great. Logitech, hi Crimson. Welcome in, everyone. EK, welcome in. Yeah, there was that guy. I always, what's his name? Something Medley? Or is it Medley something? Edward Medley? The guy who added lead to petrol. Pigeon? Vaguely story about him. But yes, very, very prominent man in the sense that he is probably credited to being the person who infected the environment as an individual. He did the most amount of, not even damage. Thomas Midgley, thank you very much, Seer. Thomas Midgley is probably credited being as the most influential individual person to the environment. Not even damage. And the reason I say not even damage is I'm sure there are actually good people out there who have been trying actively to save the environment. I think his existence alone just isn't enough to compensate. He did the whole lead petrol stuff, got up in a lot of controversies where he made up stuff and falsified data to keep it going for a long time to say lead is great. And then the other thing that he did was, what's the guy? He added, is it CFCs for refrigerants? Oh, there's something wrong with my 3D printer. Filament ran out. See if that's okay. Anyways, where was I? Yes. Thomas Midgley. So, like I mentioned, he properly affected the environment in the most amount of way out of any individual in history. Again, because there's so many possible people who did a lot of good. But I think he individually, as one human being, did a lot more. Added lead to the petrol, had involved himself in a lot of conspiracies and pushbacks and advertisements to make it seem like that wasn't the issue. Then there was the CFCs to refrigerants. Guy who basically led to the holes in the ozone layer. That's nice. And the ending to the story is that he contracted polio, devised a pulley system to pull himself out of bed every day. And one day, as he was getting out of bed, the pulley system got tangled up and strangled himself. So yeah. Interesting to say the least. Polio, oh Jesus. Oh, no way. See, lads, never try to solve your own problems. There is a moral. There is a lesson. For real? Oh yeah, no, I'm not kidding. That wasn't a joke. Ow! I whacked myself. I kid you not. That is the story of Thomas Midgley. From Midgley's Wikipedia page, has more adverse impact on the atmosphere than any other single organism in Earth's history. An instinct for the regrettable that was almost uncanny. A one-man environmental disaster. That's a lot of names to be called. And what did we learn today? Don't get out of bed. Exactly. Just watch tofu from bed. That sounds bad. What I mean is, don't get out of bed. Relax, chill, and enjoy some educational content. What passes for educational these days, of course, can be very different from many others. Oh, my internet is so slow. I apologize. Flora Carvins years ago. Hi, Antic. Welcome in, welcome in. Graham, thank you so much for the biddies. You should print out a Grace Hopper nanosecond. 11.8 inches. How far light goes in 1 nanosecond. Cool teaching aid. I don't know any of those words you just said, Grim. I don't know what a Grace Hopper is. I've never heard of that before. You're saying some funny words, Magic Man. Oh, Grace Hopper is a person. Admiral Grace Hopper was a pioneer. Oh, okay. I thought it was a word. You were saying Grace and Hopper. You know, I thought it was a hopping. Okay. Listen, I don't know everything. Well, today's a new thing. There's loads of computer scientists, female computer scientists in history that contributed so much, but I feel like I've stayed away from making content on them simply because I actually don't know. I don't think I respectfully can understand them. Understand the work and contribution they did. Like, one of the things that people keep saying for me to do a video on is I always butcher her pronunciation. Please bear with me. Is Emmy, or is it Emma? Emmy Noether? How do you pronounce her surname? And a lot of people are always like, you should do a video on her. She did amazing work and she contributed so much. You're absolutely fucking right. She did contribute amazing amount of work and contribution to physics and mathematics. But her stuff was so amazing, I don't actually fully grasp it. I'm not the greatest person to talk to about this because the kind of work they did was above my pay grade. You know what I mean? Hi, Games. Who stole a prototype car and went on the world's first road trip. Really? Yeah, Sunday's my break day as well. Where he breaks the myth and explains how energy doesn't... Yes, yes. I don't know about the myth so much, Sai. It was a weird video in terms of how it's displayed. But yeah, I've seen it. There's 2 parts to it as well. At least you're honest about it. It's the least thing I can do. No, I wouldn't mind going into those, but if I were to make content and video out of it, I have to sit down and study it. I wouldn't feel comfortable making videos on those topics unless I'm not even an expert, but at least really, really well versed in it. So I would be hesitant. Something's wrong with my 3D printer. Hopefully it's okay now. Basically, she had to explain the military brass why satellite communication was slow, so she had a wire cut to exactly the distance of a nanosecond. Then picture those stacking up the distance of a Ah, that's cool. Okay, that's a great idea. Grim, would you post that in the Discord, the suggestion thing? So I don't lose track of that idea. That does sound like a nice thing to do, research into. All right, let me know if the 3D printer is really loud. But while we're here, we might as well get ourselves involved in some interesting science. We'll start our day today with a little bit of science before we tinker. Actually, I don't know if we'll get much tinkering done while the thing is printing. I have questions about the iron flow batteries. Oh, I'm recently got really inspired by iron flow batteries. I'm a big fan. For low current LED lighting system, and imagine could be functional. However, commercial products are just more convenient. You can definitely build an iron flow battery budget friendly at home. But it depends. But if you want to build voltage, you just need cells. The more cells you build, the more you can do it. Now, when I say budget friendly, we're still talking about lots and lots of money. But yes, I'm actually started to look into iron flow batteries a lot more recently. I think they're very interesting. Yes, very interesting indeed. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to talk about the three-body problem. So, as you guys know, when Newton did a lot of his equations and physics and science, specifically around gravity and forces and all those wonderful equations of motion, the laws behind forces in our universe. I'm trying to think of what the Newtonian laws are called again. 3 laws of motion, I guess. There comes a situation where once we add one extra guy in the equation, a third party member, it suddenly becomes very, very difficult to get it going. What I mean by that is the equation F is equal to G times m1, m2 over r squared becomes a little bit more complex. And it's not so straightforward and simple. And so that's what we're kind of going to go through today. We're actually going to start talking about the three-body problem. I was obviously inspired by the book initially when I first did it. What's really interesting about it is I tried to see who was the first one who attempted in deriving everything. And the first one, and the first documentation I have found, maybe it's not the first, is right in this book here. Ta-da! Isaac Newton's The Principia. So, the mathematical principles of the natural philosophy. So he actually does tackle some ideas based on the work of Copernicus, Kepler, and a few others as to how to get some sort of relationship with the three-body problem. Light reading, yes, I read a couple of pages every night, Zira, you know. All right, we'll have a look here. We're going to look at Wikipedia. Wikipedia is always nice for a bit of a rough overview. In physics, specifically classical mechanics, the three-body problem is to take the initial positions and velocity of 3-point masses orbiting each other in space, and then to calculate their subsequent trajectories using Newton's laws of motion and Newton's laws of universal gravitation. So the point is that when we have an object orbiting another object, let's take Earth and the Moon, we can actually calculate the velocity and the trajectory of the Moon. We can predict where the Moon is going to go throughout down the line, hundreds and decades of years down the line. However, if we were a three-body problem, it becomes extremely difficult to actually do calculations a little bit further down the line. So one of the examples, and I suppose one of the famous books about this, is what celestial body is it again, chat? Does anyone remember? In the TV show or the book, Three-Body Problem. What's Centauri? Is it Centauri? Some sort of relationship with three-body problem. Is this going to be about a love triangle? It's going to be a very dramatic love triangle, yes. Basically. Isn't there a Netflix show? Yes. So the Netflix show is based on a book series that I'm reading at the moment, Ruben. And yes, the three-body problem has a three-body problem in there. Just going to look this up real quickly. I thought it was based on a real system. I'm trying to find the solar system that it was based on. Okay, anyways, it doesn't matter. Just know that there are binary systems and there are tri-solar systems out there in the world, where it means that there's a system like ours, like our solar system, but with multiple stars. Isn't that cool? If I'm not mistaken, do I remember the lore? Okay, close your ears if you haven't watched the sequel to Space Odyssey 2001. Close your ears. Isn't that what happened? Didn't Jupiter become a star in our system? And then Europa begins to orbit Jupiter, and it's said to stay away from Europa. Am I right in thinking that? Is my recollection of the whole thing incorrect? All the worlds are yours, but Europa. That was the movie. In the book, it was Saturn. Oh, really? That's interesting. Okay. I wonder why they switched it up from the book and the movie that way. I mean, Jupiter is way more massive and has a lot more hydrogen and helium in that case. And I suppose there is a question of why, how do stars become stars and how do planets become planets when they're both made up mostly, the gas giants are made up mostly from hydrogen and helium. I used to know all of this. Now that I think about it, I do think I got into physics because I got to read a lot of space stuff. It was because Jupiter was easier to animate. No way, really? Was that the sole reason? Jeez. Unlike the two-body problem, the three-body problem has no general closed-form analytic solution. The differential equations that govern the motions of three gravitating bodies are not integrable and cannot be solved to give explicit formulas for the position of the bodies as a function of time. For most initial conditions, the dynamical system of three orbiting bodies is chaotic, and only way to predict their motion is to estimate them using numerical methods. So what that means is, and I'm happy for you guys to jump in because we're diving into a realm of something that I am aware of and I'm interested in, but I am not an expert in this field at all by any means. But what it means is that you can't get an expressive equation for a three-body problem where even if the initial conditions are different, it doesn't matter. You can't solve over time where each body will be. What you can do is you can predict how the bodies are going to move very soon in the future. But the further the future you go into, the less accurate your position is going to be. But because the system is so intricate and delicate and really dependent on the position, the percentage error escalates drastically with every point in time that you go further. So it really does make it quite impossible to solve it. Thank you, Alpha Centauri. Really appreciate that, Hacks. I'm going to look that up. Do you guys see this? My Googles. Alpha Centauri A, B, Proxima Centauri. So it has 3 suns. It has one giant one. Well, it's not that giant. It's only like a little bit bigger than the sun. And then the second one is just a little bit smaller than our sun. It's actually they're very reasonable stars. And then there's Proxima Centauri, a very, very tiny one. So the big one, okay, that's not to scale. So we have a sun-like star, an orange dwarf, and a red dwarf. Wait, aren't we a red dwarf? Are we a red dwarf, chat? Not to be confused with Gimli. Our sun is a yellow dwarf. Oh, I see. I see. Proxima Centauri is the closest star, 4.25 light years away, which is 1.3 parsecs only. It's only 1.3 parsecs away, chat. The sun isn't red. Sure, but just because we visually see it as yellow doesn't stop scientists from naming it a red something. Have you seen some of the bird naming systems in place? They will say a color, or not even a bird, but they will say, let me think. There's reptiles as well. There's a few other things like that where they'll say it's a red bottlenecked giraffe-tongued lizard. I'm making something up. But you look at it and it's not the color they describe, so you know what? It's a lot lighter than giant stars, but still more massive than something like 80 or 90% of the stars in the universe. So our star is more massive than 80% of the stars in the universe. I always thought we were quite small. So yeah, in my defense, me thinking that our sun was a red dwarf isn't that crazy. I stand by that, embarrassingly. I'm just checking my 3D printer. Do you guys hear it in the background? Too much? A lot? Is it bothering you? There are a lot of stars out there. That is true. Proxima B and Proxima D. The former is an Earth-sized planet in the habitable zone. Oh, while the latter is a sub-Earth orbit, which is really close. A possible but disputed third planet is a mini Neptune. Okay. That's so cool. So there is a planet in the habitable zone in that system. So the book that the three body problem is based on is has some sound principles. You can't hear it. Can barely hear it. Perfect. Excellent. When you hold project experiment, real science believed until recently that there was a planet there. Yes, that's right. I heard about that, John. Yeah. Oh, did my video finish downloading? It did. Okay. Oh, Jesus, 50 gigs of a video. That's insane. 50 gigabytes. What I'm after downloading is downloading the VOD from last night so I can edit it and edit some clips. 50 fecking gigs. Jesus. Robins have red coloration, as the word orange for the color wasn't a thing at the time. It was named after the fruit orange in the early... I feel like I've heard that before, but yeah, it's always cool reminder of that. Let me just put on moisturizer on my fingers. They're very dry. Yeah. Getting my pillow puffed up. Anybody would have thought it's a long video. It's almost like it's 15 hours long. 15 hours long of prime quality videography. All right, moisturize a bit. Okay. The three body problem is a special case of the n body problem. So n body problem just means whatever number and replace it with n. So 3 body problem, 4 body problem, 5 body problem. Even though we don't have a generic solution for the 3 body problem, people have explored 4 body problems, 5 body problems, and so on and so forth. Historically, the first specific 3 body problem to receive extended study was the one involving the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. So yes, we do have even 3 body problems in our own system. In an extended modern sense, a 3 body problem is any problem in classical mechanics or quantum mechanics that involves the motion of 3 particles. Body problems? Listen, we all have body problems, Logitech Al. We all have problems. Oh, I wish I didn't have the love handles I have. Oh, why do I have that flabby part of my body? You know, I think we all go through body problems. Alpha Centauri years ago. Oh, okay. Ooh, the Irish word for body. Great question. I actually don't know. Let's learn that. Of human or animal, corp. Corp on dinner. Dinner is a person, so corp on dinner. There's another one, Colleen. Let me listen to this. Oh, are you guys hearing this? I don't hear anything.
Colin.
Oh, Colin. So there's another word.
Corp.
Carp. So there's corp and there's
Colin.
Cullen as well. Depends on yeah. I'm guessing corp, just seeing it, is mostly used for the term corpse. Jimmy has been a moderator for 5 years. Let's go. How you keep it? Wait, Zier, I saw you share it earlier as well. You were 6 months, weren't you? You poor crater, Jimmy. I hope you have your retirement plan set in place. Hi, Cos. Welcome in, welcome in. Pet the Jimmy. Yes, yes, pet the Jimmy.
No, thank you. We don't want any more visitors, well-wishers, or distant relations.
And what about very old friends? Very old friends indeed, Jimmy. Congratulations on surviving another wedding. 77 months. Incroyable. Incroyable. Welcome in, welcome in. This might be a bit too heavy on a hangover-y Sunday to listen to, but we're just discussing some three-body problems today. So you guys are more than welcome to hang out and chill with us. If my 3D printer isn't too loud, I hope it's okay. I'm really wary because it's freaking buzzing in there. The mathematical statement of the three-body problem can be given in terms of equations of motions of the vector positions r in the x, y, and z direction, because shockingly, I know this is crazy, we live in 3 dimensions, chat, of 3 gravitationally interacting bodies with the masses m1. So the double derivative, that's what the 2 dots mean. Okay, that's not terrible. Okay, that's not too scary. Are we also ready to diss the TV? No. I'm reading the book. It's really good, Kip. Hi, Kip. I've got 1 body problem today, let alone 3. Can I ask a physics question? Sure. We are doing a topic today, bear in mind, so I don't know how much help I can be to you. Well, that depends. If you count time as a dimension, that is true. For now, we're going to ignore it. There was game... Oh, yes. What is Planck's constant and how should one think about it? It is a unique value that exists for photons, I would say. That's the way I like to think of it. I like to think of it as E is equal to HF. Do you know the electromagnetic spectrum? And it was proof that particles have to exist in energy levels, in discrete energy levels. And it turns out, yes. The way I view Planck's constant is that it's this value in the universe that exists to ensure or to show that everything, take that with a grain of salt, is a particle ultimately. Even when we deal with continuous spectrums, everything is a particle. But that's my kind of way of looking at it. And should be taken with a grain of salt. Let's not, King. Let's not. Let's not do a 15-hour stream again today. An astronomer, Johann Frank, describes these 3 second-order vector differential equations are equivalent to 18 first-order scalar differential equations. As June Borrow Green notes with regard to the alternative presentations, if P initial represents 3 particles with masses m initial, oh, I won't say initial I, I'll just say I. Distance is pi from particle 1 to particle j, or particle I to particle j, is equal to r, the distance between particle I to particle j, and coordinates qij, where ij is equal to 1/2/3. Wait, why is ij 1, 2, 3? I got lost there at that last part. Where h is the Hamiltonian. Okay, so there's a lot of concerns, a lot of suggestions that I am not equipped to deal with. We'll look at general solutions. Maybe we'll get some other understanding. There is no general closed form solution to the three-body problem. In other words, it does not have a general solution that can be expressed in terms of finite number of standard mathematical operations. Moreover, the motion of three bodies is generally non-repeating except in extremely special cases. So what we're going to look into that we have, there are actually repetitive three-body problems, oscillations. You can make some three-body problems repetitive, but it's under extremely special conditions, and we're going to go through them now. Some of them look really cool. However, in 1912, the Finnish mathematician Carl Fritiof Sundman proved that there exists an analytical solution to the three-body problem in the form of Poisson series, specifically a power series in terms of powers of t to the power of a third. The series converges for all t, except for the initial conditions corresponding to zero angular momentum. In practice, the latter restriction is insignificant since initial conditions with zero angular momentum are rare, having Lebesgue measure 0. Zero angular momentums. Does that mean that the thing isn't rotating? That there is a solution to the three-body problem, but it can't be moving? Periodic, yeah, no, probably. Chaos dynamics, sort of. We're just looking at a specific chaotic system, which is the three-body problem. An important issue in improving the result is the fact that the radius of convergence for the series is determined by the distance to the nearest singularity. Therefore, it is necessary to study the possible singularities of three-body problems. As is briefly discussed below, the only singularities in three-body problems are binary collisions, collisions between two particles in an instant, and triple collisions, collisions between three particles at an instant. These are going to be discussions that we're not equipped to work with. So we might just jump in to the special case solutions. And I think this is the coolest part. So these are some of the solutions. And the reason I took a little bit of particular interest in this is that people actually publish papers to this day discovering these solutions. So about once a year, you will read, well, maybe that's an exaggeration. There used to be a lot more. Maybe they're a good bit rarer nowadays. But people do publish this kind of work where they actually find very special cases where there is a periodic three-body solution. Usually in all these cases, you do need for all the three masses to be of equal masses, and their initial trajectory has to start a certain way. So, yeah. I'm just looking at all of them. They're actually really, really cool. But yeah, every now and then someone's going to solve, someone published a paper finding one of these stable solutions.
Final count.
42.
42.
42?
That's not bad.
That's not bad for a pointy-eared elvish princeling.
I know this is like cheeky, and I am nowhere an expert enough to comment and be mean to people, but I feel like this one is cheating. Do you see the mouse? Yeah, you do. This one, that was cheating. So are these examples of specific solutions? Yes, exactly. So these are the only ones thus far. Okay, maybe there's more, but the 20 that we're looking at are very special cases where people did find some way of making the orbits, what's the word? Stable. The reality of it is it's because there is a period associated with them. There is some form of repetition at some point. But the reality of it is most three-body problems in our universe are not periodic. Not like this, anyway. And to predict where the planets will be in any given point in time. So in case anyone's kind of confused as to why the three-body problem is difficult, or what is it even about? So when we study Newton's laws and equations of motions and so on and so forth, and I'll take something like my bullet lipstick, I like to call it, and I projectile motion it, I throw it, or I do something to it. You could take a screenshot of the initial condition of the moment I let go of this makeup, and you can tell me exactly, using the laws of physics, where will it be, at what speed it will land at, and what force it will be. You can tell its story very thoroughly, step by step. The problem with three-body problems is that that's what they can't do, or we humans can't do. We can't develop sets of equations where it can tell us the whole story and where everything is going to be. The best we can do at the moment is there are some solutions in place where we can see quite near in the future. So we can see where the lipstick is going to be here, 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 but maybe not all the way down to the bottom. Bullet point, PowerPoint. Yeah, some of these are really, really cool. These four families are... Oh, sorry. I raced on ahead. In 1769, Leonhard Euler found three families of periodic solutions in which the three masses are collinear at each instant. Do you know what? Pretty incredible. Euler be doing too many things. It will hit the ground before the wall, then bounce back. But is that because there are too many variables, or that there's no way to know the initial factors involved? You can know the initial factors, the initial inputs, but the equations change, if that makes sense, and you don't know how they will change. You can't predict it. Lagrange found a family of solutions in which the three masses form an equilateral triangle at each instant. Together with Euler's collinear solutions, these solutions form the central configurations for the three-body problem. Let's look at which ones they discovered. Oh, I was hoping for a diagram. I want to know which one are Euler's and Lagrange's. These solutions are valid for any mass ratios, and the masses move in Keplerian ellipses. These four families are the only known solutions for which there are explicit analytical formulas. In the special case of circular restricted circular body problems, these solutions become points called Lagrangian points. Ah, we know this one. Labeled L1, L2, L3, L4, and L5, with L4 and L5 being symmetric instances of Lagrange's solution. Euler's is the far left, third from the top. This one? This one? I don't know why, but I'm struggling to understand those. Copenhagen interpretation is bullshit. Compatibilists are cowards. King, you're saying that this stream is too smart for you? This stream is too smart for me. I'm covering something that I know nothing about. I promise you. We're not going to be... We're going to be that meme. You know, that's looking at this and going, I know some of these words. We are that meme right now. Exactly. We as a community are being dumb together right now. In work summarized in 1892 and 1899, Henry, I think, Poincare established the existence of an infinite number of periodic solutions to the restricted three-body problem, together with techniques for continuing these solutions into the general three-body problem. In 1893, Missel stated what is now called the Pythagorean three-body problem. The three masses in the ratio 3-4-5 are placed at rest at the vertices of a 3-4-5 triangle, with the heaviest body on the right angle. Bureau further investigated this problem in 1913. In 1967, Victor Sebelhili and Frederick Peters established eventual escape of the lightest body for this problem using numerical integration, while at the same time finding nearby periodic solutions. This is actually a really interesting point. So, these scientists established, just using three-body problems mathematics, that this is how planets get yeeted. Have you heard about this, by the way? I forget what they're called. Are they called dark planets or rogue planets? Does anyone know what I'm referring to? There are planets in our solar system that got abandoned. They got absolutely betrayed by their mother. I'm trying to make this in a romance story. Yes, rogue planets. We'll look it up here. And this is one of the ways that more than likely rogue planets occur. So quite literally, they get ejected from their solar system. They travel across a galaxy instead of orbit. And how are they traversing? Well, I usually do this demo. It's a very good demo of I get a piece of rope. Do I have rope? No. But this is a nice-ish demonstration. So how do rogue planets happen? So think about, pretend this wire, it doesn't exist. Really, what's making me swing this wire around in circles and this banana plug spinning around in circles is a gravitational pull. So this is a planet and in the center is the sun, right? So when we talk about the three-body problem and four-body problem, what is happening with those planets that are orbiting these systems is that they get pulled left, right, up, down in all trajectories by the massive gravitational pulls of the stars. So what actually ends up happening is they swing left, swing right, and God knows what else. And you can't really predict what happens to them. Sometimes, in a very rare instance, one of these planets gains so much velocity that it quite literally gets the escape velocity. And it doesn't get pulled back into the gravitational pull of the star. and gets lost forever. So you have your 2 stars or 3 stars or whatever system you have doing their weird periodic motions, doing crazy stuff all the time. And then that planet that was orbiting around, gets yeeted off into that trajectory, into that velocity, that gravitation, that string isn't there anymore to keep them in bound, and then gets lost. And it's bye-bye. And so it doesn't have a star to orbit around anymore. It has no friends. Gets kicked out. Gets kicked out by the parents and says, you know, time to pack up your shit and leave. You're on your own now. So in case everyone ever thinks about those thought stuff, like what would happen if our star just popped out of nowhere? Like fine, not explosion, but specifically that, you know, just disappeared. What would happen? That's the most depressing story I've ever heard about a planet. There's a few, I think we've detected a few, am I right in saying that? Hi for Zerp. Would that be a ghost in space? Or did it leave it on its own accord? I don't think so. If we're talking about gravitational pulls, I don't know. I guess the other story that you could spin with rogue planets is that gravitational pull that they have with their star is that mommy issues that someone can have. You know, like you're trying to leave the house, you're trying to go to college, you're trying to get a job, you're trying to get married, and your mother is just like hovering over you all the time and, you know, never lets you get away. And so the rogue planet finally cut the cord, and was able to go on its own in the world. They're off adventuring. Exactly. Really, they're just Bilbo Baggins. A bowl of petunias. Planets with gravitating parental issues. There we go. There was a recent discovery where we might have detected the first rogue planet in another galaxy. Alternatively, it might be a primordial micro black hole. I would have guessed that too, Fruity. Yeah, that was my first guess as well. Totes my goats. I still want to know if there are adopted planets. Oh yeah, that's an interesting thought. If rogue planets exists, do adopted planets theoretically? I see why not. It'll be very hard for it to find a stable orbit, and it'll take a long time, but technically. Maybe it's just so hard to imagine because the galaxy is so freaking big. How about kidnapped planets? Yes, definitely. Well, there could be like a dual planet thing happening, Mob Farmer. 2 planets. The moon is kind of adopted, isn't it? It was a collision or reformation. So, if I'm not mistaken, we don't know 100% how the moon formed. Let's look at, fuck it. I have the power of the internets in front of me. I have free will as well. All of my information about the moon formation is really outdated. I studied this when I was like 8 years old. A study is a strong word. I had an astronomy book and I read things. So, you know what? It's time to unite together and learn. The origin of the moon is usually explained by a Mars-sized body known as Theia, striking Earth and creating a debris ring, which eventually collected into a single natural satellite, the moon. But there are a number of variations of this giant impact hypothesis, as well as alternative explanations, and research continues into how the moon came to be formed. Other proposed scenarios include captured body fission, formed together planetesimal collisions, and collision theories. So it turns out, from when I was studying and reading this as a kid back in 2002, we still don't have a concrete theory on this, but there are some nice ideas. Hi, Nals, welcome in. Do we understand gravity? Oh, yes, I would say so. Yeah. The quantum aspect of gravity is something that I don't think needs to be too... Maybe I'm wrong actually about that. Maybe we do need to understand the quantum aspect of gravity to be able to do the three-body problem and stuff. But as far as I'm aware, the way we're approaching it, nah. Nobody really knows. It turns out you have to be there, hacks. Front row seats. And we missed the opening credits of the moon formation. We are too late. Well, hopefully we can view the formation of other things over time. Now, the formation of these things are crazy long. Longer than human civilization, so... Had 2 more planets. Yeah, there's really... I don't know about that article specifically, Noz, but there was a few kind of ideas that we had to have had more planets for a lot of the simulations to show how our system is created, and assuming we know how old everything is. And everyone places like, oh, it took this amount of years to form this amount of million years to form this. And if you play back simulations, different planets had to have existed. I've heard of that before anyway. That's true. The flying around the moon is cool. What I might do is I might take a quick break and pee. And grab a cup of tea. Sorry. Oh, doing a bit of a stretch. We'll do P and T, and when we come back, we're going to study the origin of the moon. We're going to look through the moon's Instagram stories or posts and go back to like the early days, pre-2015, and see the embarrassing, cringy photos that it uploaded before it was all cool and all pretentious and stuff. Hi, Pinchinko. I'll see you guys in a little while. Who knows if the Soviet Union would have pushed as far as they did with nuclear research? Because despite the fact that the Americans did make the first nuclear bomb, the Soviet Union did obtain the template and were able to make their own nuclear bombs at the time. The material obtained to be able to do so were obtained with aid and with the driving force behind Zinaida Ershova. She was awarded many Stalin Prizes. She got the Stalin Prize in 1949, 1951, and in 1954 for her contributions to the USSR nuclear research at the time. She left her research facility in 1989 with over 40 years of dedicated service. She passed away on April 25th, 1995. She's remembered to this day as a prominent scientist in Russia, and she is often referred to as the Russian Madame Curie, and sometimes, of course, as the Soviet Madame Curie. My personal contribution to this story is looking at that phone call that she got in Kazakhstan. Imagine the weight on the shoulders of anyone when your country calls you forward like that and says that your research is vital for the defense and the prosperity of the nation. That and being dubbed as a Russian or Soviet Madame Curie is an honor and a half. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I'm so glad I had this opportunity to share this story. If you'd like to add anything more to her information, please let me know, as the information is very difficult to obtain. And everything that I have shared, I've actually had to kind of translate from Russian as well. Please take care of yourselves. A really cool field of study is passive filters, filtering out signals in AC circuits, using an inductor or capacitor and a resistor. There are really good videos and resources online. Organic Chemistry Tutor is the one I personally recommend. He taught me things when I was in university, and I think his video on this topic is very thorough, especially if you're studying for tests, exams, and actual mathematical problems. My video specifically is sharing how my brain works with you so that you get a better and intuitive understanding of how passive filters work. It might not be perfectly accurate what I'm going to be teaching, but rather I just want to share how my brain works, and that whenever anything is given to me to try and solve, I can always work back and there is a physics logic to how this works. So let me start with capacitors. So a quick revision of how capacitors work. Let's say if I put it into a DC circuit, you have two metal plates. You apply voltage in your circuit, and the electrons from one side of the plate are all going to start moving towards the other side of the circuit. Over time, there's not going to be any electrons left, and so you have a positive net voltage buildup here, a positive negative buildup of electrons here, and you have a big voltage difference across these two plates. So initially, when you first click the switch, there's loads of current going through. But as time goes, more and more and more of the electrons are built up on the other side, and you're basically losing current. You don't have as much electrons to work with, and as time progresses, you have less and less current. So that's the basic principle of how a capacitor works. Now, let's look at the classical design of a passive filter. This is your voltage in, your voltage out, a capacitor and a resistor, and then you flip it across here. So one of these is a high pass filter and the other one is a low pass filter. We'll figure out which one it is. So let's think about it. We have a current coming in, and AC current is a wave, right? And it's coming into our setup here. Think again how a capacitor works in a DC circuit. If you give it enough time to charge, basically the current is going to get less and less and less. However, in an AC circuit, you're constantly changing polarity, positive and negative, positive and negative. And what if I was changing polarity super quick? What if this time was very, very small? What would the current be? Because we're alternating the current so quickly, we don't give it enough time to charge and discharge the capacitor fully. The capacitor is saying yay, because it doesn't get enough time to charge, it allows loads of current to go through, it passes through freely and easily. It's very, very happy. So this is what we call a high pass filter with a capacitor. But another interesting thing that we can do is that we can switch the resistor and the capacitor. The reason there's a resistor in there is because there is this whole filtering process and what frequency you're going to be operating in. I highly recommend, again, checking out the Organic Chemistry Tutor video that I've linked in this video, because there's no need for me to repeat the same thing. I would say exactly the same things as he does. Now, when we flip the resistor and the capacitor here, we have a wave coming in, as always, in the V in, and it could be a really high frequency wave or a really low frequency wave, we don't know. Dun 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 dun. And there's two paths it can take. Well, because a capacitor loves current that has high frequency, right? It wants to allow that current to pass through. Something that we say in this field is that it has low impedance. It has such low resistance that that type of current would rather take this path. And there's a ground usually in the system and it gets filtered out. So the high current coming in, the high voltage, the high frequency waves coming in will be passed around in this direction and to ground. They get filtered out, which allows the low frequency, the slow waves like this, where we give them loads of time to charge and discharge, which means low current. We allow them to pass through easily, and we call this then a low pass filter. Just to reiterate before, the high pass filter allows the high frequency waves to come in, but if you have a low frequency coming in, it blocks it. Because no current is going to get through. If you're giving it too much time to charge and discharge, if you increase this T more and more and more, it's just not going to pass a whole lot of things through. Now, the same principle can be applied to an inductor. Let me show you. Now, if you
I'm
invest a lot of
back.
time in studying this, my so I did something naughty. I made a cup of tea, of course, but that's not that naughty. The naughty part of what I did was I bought Jammy Dodgers today. And not even the knockoffs. Alcoholic cup of tea? Who do you make me out to be? Share with the class! That only applies to students, Grim. I don't need to do it. I'm a poet. Yes, I splurged in little today, and I bought real Jammy Dodgers. I am your student yet. No, but that only applies to students, as in, like, to each other. You guys have to share. I think there's someone on stream chat. What do you think? Hi, Buns. To some of you. Hi, friend. Hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. We're gonna hopefully show you a trick. We're really good at making tricks. Isn't that right, Buns? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I have trained my wild rabbit to perform. Up, up. Up, up. Up, up. There we go. Good girl. Voila. Goes under. That's a crazy hair you have there. And for the next trick, I will make this bunny disappear.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no
Fair.
point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I
Fair.
award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All very fair. What is the most expensive thing your rabbit has chewed? She chewed my Nintendo Wii wireless motion thing, which is really expensive because they don't sell those anymore. Not the original anyway. And she chewed up our stairs carpet. There's a hole, which is maybe not expensive, but I don't know if anyone's ever put a carpet into a set of stairs. That's a lot of work. So, yes. Those are the two major financial forms of destruction. The Ethernet cable wasn't too expensive. It was like €15. Hi, Neela. Welcome in. Harry back. Rabbit didn't want to do it on camera without a paycheck. Absolutely. Oh, we're talking about the time that Earth got absolutely slapped. Listen, that wasn't going to be the title of my stream, but honestly, Science Bish, I think I should hire you for clickbait titles. Because, oh, study physics with tofu today is the title that I tend to use. But Let's talk about the time the Earth got absolutely slapped. That's the perfect title I should be using for my streams. This is how you get the kids to click your videos and your live streams. There we go. Whoop. Is the Earth cooked? It's over. In my defense, Pachinko, there's nothing I can do about the carpet other than locking her in. And we've thought about it. Like, she's destroyed a few rooms in this house, Bambi has. And we could lock her out. But I've kind of made this decision of, nah. You know, she doesn't know what she's doing. And this is her whole life, you know? Exploring the room and getting to do silly things around the house. Destroying the carpet is all she has. So I've decided that I'm going to accept the costs of having a rabbit while letting her have the best life possible. And she's still the most ungrateful little shit. That's one weird trick to get a satellite. That's true. It needs to be vertical aspect ratio. I should stream vertically. On YouTube and TikTok, I think you can do that. Oh, you can do it on Twitch as well. I haven't signed up for that. When I see all those kind of things, I'm always a bit hesitant. I tend to, you know, not like change. Please don't. But it'll be simultaneous casting. So, like, it's just... I'll stream on Twitch, but if you are on your phone, you get me in vertical form as well. Oh, of course, Pachinko. That rant wasn't because of what you said, but rather you reminded me or made me think about what I said. My understanding is the vertical is phones. Why don't people just rotate their phones horizontal? Why you Wikipedia? What's wrong with Wikipedia? Why are we hating on Wiki? Is this like the new trend to hate on something? Hi, kitties. Welcome in. Good morning. Hi, not the brain. Welcome in. Sorry. I have loads of crumbs everywhere, so I'm going to keep doing stuff. The standard giant impact hypothesis suggests that a Mars-sized body called Theia impacted the proto-Earth. Earth was called Proto. Creating a large debris ring around Earth, which then exerted to form the Moon. The Moon's oxygen isotopic ratios seem to be essentially identical to Earth's. Oxygen isotopic ratios, which may be measured very precisely, yield a unique and distinct signature for our solar system body. If Theia had been a separate protoplanet, it probably would have had a different oxygen isotopic signature than proto-Earth, as would the ejected mixed material. Also, the Moon's titanium isotope ratio appears so close to Earth's that little, if any, of the colliding body's masses could have been part of the Moon. Interesting. There is some proof to back up our statements. Yeah, that's true, Dark Passenger, yeah. Oh, have you heard... Sorry, I'm just seeing the lunar sample. Have you heard what happened to our lunar sample in Ireland? This is why you should never give anything to an Irish person. I'm going to tell you the story. You need to find the story. Here we go. Apollo 11 samples. At the request of Nixon, NASA had about 250 presentation plaques made from Apollo 11 in 1969. Each included about 4 right-sized particles of moon dust from the mission. The Apollo 11 lunar sample display has an acrylic plastic button containing the moon dust, mounted with the recipient's country or state flag that had been to the moon and back. All 135 countries received the display, as did 50 states of the United States of America and the US provinces of the United Nations. The plaques were also given as gifts by Nixon in 1970. So, we went to the moon, good few times, packed up our suitcases with moon dust and moon samples, and they presented it to every nation around the world. I wonder if they did it to USSR. That would have been funny. Sorry. The Ireland lunar sample was displayed in Dunsink Observatory in Dublin until a 1977 fire. Afterwards, debris was removed to the dump at the Finglas landfill. The lunar display was among the rubble and was accidentally thrown away. They mistook it for rubble. Joseph Guthenez, a former NASA employee of the Apollo moon rock displays, called the discarded moon rock a pot of gold under a dump. There we go, team. That is how Ireland lost our lunar sample. Hi, Layla. Welcome in. We were talking about the real body problem earlier. It turns out it's a bit too advanced for us. And by for us, I mean me. So we got distracted and we started looking at the moon. And then moon samples. I'm not sure how we ended up talking about the moon. Why did we start talking about the moon formation? I'm not sure. We did this weird thing of the rabbit holes. We started clicking into things. And now we're looking at the moon formation. At least they didn't try to make a limited edition Jemison out of it. No, it's not quantum. It can be used in particle physics, of course, but we're talking about like Newtonian physics. Ah, we started talking about rogue planets. Then we started talking about planet adoption. Then we started to theorize if the moon was adopted. And then we started looking into how the moon was formed. There we go. Classic Wikipedia worming, or what is it called? Wormholes? No, not wormholes. Rabbit holes? Rabbit holes. Mole holes? I'm pretty sure I'm mixing up like 5-figure speeches here, chat. Wild rabbit holes. Alright, let's have a read about how the moon formed. Without any distractions, chat. Stop distracting me. Let's focus on science. Everybody, pull your pants together. I'm not sure why I said pull your pants together. That's, again, 2-figure speeches I mixed up. Sorry. I'm burping. Some theories have stated that presume the proto-Earth had no large moons early in the formation of the solar system, about 4.4 billion years ago. Earth being basically rock and lava. Theia, an early protoplanet the size of Mars, hit Earth in such a way that it ejected considerable amount of material away from Earth. So basically, we got hit. I was trying to come up with a baseball reference. We got whacked with a baseball bat. We got whacked really hard, chat, is basically the summary. Stop it, GTT. Whacked as in dead. So yes, we got whacked. Was that a rogue planet? Was Theia a rogue planet as well? Were we actually... Wait. Did we
Pull the lever.
get hit by a rogue planet, chat? Is that what happened? So no, I understand that it was Thea. Thea is in our system. It's our solar protoplanet. But what if it wasn't Thea? What if it was a rogue planet? We did start this adventure all talking about the rogue planet. All right, thank you. My bad. Thank you. Some proportion of these ejecta escaped into space, but the rest consolidated into a single spherical moon in orbit about Earth, creating the moon. The hypothesis requires a collision between proto-Earth, about 90% of the diameter of present Earth, and another body the diameter of Mars. The latter has sometimes been referred to as Thea, the name of the mother of Selene, the moon goddess in Greek mythology. The size ratio is needed in order for the resulting system to have significant angular momentum to match the current orbital configuration. Such an impact would have put enough material into orbit around Earth to have eventually accumulated to form the moon. So they can actually predict the size and at what momentum it clashed to pull off this theory. I think that's really, really cool. We love it when you give us a silent treatment. You've been hit by... You've been struck by a rogue planetoid. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum-bum. Ba-da-bum-bum. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum. It must be that they're barbarian and wizard planets. Commuter simulations show a need for a glancing blow, which causes a portion of the collider to form a long arm of material that then shears off. The asymmetrical shape of the Earth following the collision then causes this material to settle into orbit around the main mass. The energy involved in this collision is impressive. Possibly trillions of tons of material would have been vaporized and melted. In parts of the Earth, the temperature would have risen to 10,000 degrees Celsius. I don't know why, but this reminds me of something. Have you seen the demonstration, the experiment of chocolate ice cream and vanilla ice cream rubbed against each other? That sounds really weird. I promise this is real physics. Have you seen this, by the way? I'm gonna find a little thing. Okay, so I have a video here. It's not exactly the same thing, but I'll show it to you. This is what I'm referring to. So you get two ice creams. You rub against each other. And somehow... there's like full-on thorough physics videos on this topic. It's really, really cool. It does kind of mess with your brain a little bit. Sounds like a great excuse to put ice cream on the business expenses. I like the way you think, Motorman. I like the way you think. Would a 3 ice cream problem be? I like how unimpressed the woman is. I don't have enough coffee for this conversation. It is really interesting, though. I understand where the confusion comes from. I can kind of see the misunderstanding there. Hi, Lana. Welcome in. It was Sunday. It's not Monday. I was like, Lana, it's time for Oceaneer. I think this happens because the ice cream thinks the grass is greener on the other side. Wait, you already played it? I missed it. I'm so sorry, Lana. No. I missed the stream. What's your review of it? What's the confusion? Doesn't it seem completely plausible that a little bit of both would have been left behind? Yes, absolutely. But if you look at the ice cream, it looks like a complete scrape. So the confusion comes from when you have a dark ice cream and the light ice cream in contact with one another and you scrape it past. When you smear something, right? When you put something and smear it on it, how can two of those simultaneous things happen together? When you have the chocolate and the vanilla in contact at this point, how is it possible, if you look flat at my hands right now, how is it possible that there was a transfer between each other when they're clearly both blocking each other in this moment? But that's kind of the point, is that they're sliding and there's a bit of a rotation. It's slightly... I might shut down there. But if you think of it from a logically perspective of just those 2 points in contact with one another, how does such a substantial amount on either side both simultaneously occur? So it does get people to think, and it can be quite confusing. But yeah, it's there's a few. I'm trying to think of a good demonstration or like a good analogy, but I can't really think of something good. I know that there's some nice YouTube videos on this topic somewhere, or maybe I don't remember. Yeah. But there is something, there was some really nice educational videos on it somewhere. I don't think that happens if you don't rotate the cones when rubbing against each other, does it? I guess we should do some science on it. We should do some experiments, Dark Passenger. Let's all go to the store and buy ice cream. Why is the moon not made of cheese? Who said it wasn't, Anakin? What if it is? We have to think like an ice cream. The Action Lab guy working on a serious Aussie mullet in this video. Oh, was there a video? Wait, was there another video showing? Russell's cheese board. What happens if you replace the vanilla ice cream with mint ice cream? Mob Farmer, these are the questions we need to ask. This is proper science. You guys are thinking outside the box. It's great to see. Now we just need funding to buy a shit ton of ice cream to make this possible. Tofu has turned into a full-on reaction streamer. Ah. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind doing reaction stuff if it was science. I was tempted once to do reaction stuff and to teach using those moments. But I feel like no matter what I do, it'll be bullying. So even if I approach a video from an educational perspective, I've been so tempted to do like, what are they called? What is it called when you respond to a video? There's a proper term for it. Anyways, I was thinking when someone says something and says, oh, this is not true, or why does this happen? And so to make a video explaining these kind of things. But most of the time I see it, it comes off mean. So one of the videos I think of, and this was really weird. I think it was in COVID. Do you guys remember that time where people would put a piece of paper in front of the mirror, put an orange behind the paper, record it with a camera, and be like, how does the mirror know there's an orange there? Do you know what I'm referring to? Have you guys seen that? I'll pull up just in case you guys... it's really old. I'm trying to... I don't even know if I can find it actually now that I think about it. But I'm pretty sure it was viral though. It would mostly be Tofu screaming at the screen. That's not how physics works! But yeah, obviously I wouldn't be mean about it. I would definitely, you know, be structurally sound about it, and I would be kind. But geez, but you know, the internet can be mean. I don't know. I have to be careful with that. As a lecturer and as a representative of science, I do need to be careful. What's your tricorder device? I have some infrared sensors connected to some OLED screens and a PIR sensor for motion detection. Connected to a power bank with dual connections to the nanos. So I have 2 separate nanos. Yeah, so it determines based on heat signatures whether the object is moving and its temperature difference with the ambient temperature of the room. It sounds more complex than it actually is. But that's my tricorder device. And I'm just printing the baseline case first. It looks already way too big. I think we overdid this case. But it's good to know. It's good to know now before it's too late. Young at Heart, thank you so much for giving a gift sub to Ice Cream Slice. Far too big. Yeah, it's way too big. Because it's meant to be a handheld device. But you know what? I'm actually going to even cancel the print to say filament. I'll show it to you in a second. Challenge Tofu. And there's another video that recently happened last week, I think. And I was really tempted in doing a response video to it as well. It was about a drone flying while a car was speeding really fast. But the problem with those videos is that the person who's asking the question or like posting these videos isn't genuinely asking a question. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being a jerk. But I actually think that these people are being, they're doing clickbait. And you can see it by the responses in the comment that they're doing just for clickbait. No, they're not being dumb. I would say the opposite. They know how the algorithm works and they know how to get people to mass comment and respond. And so they abuse that. So they're not even interested genuinely to learn or to improve. They just want clickbait and responses like that. Morning, Tofu. Hi, Mustache. Welcome in. Are nanos ESPs? Yes. They're like tiny versions of them. They're being intentionally obtuse in the video for clicks. Absolutely. And the reason why I think that or believe that is because of the responses that they have in the comments. The way they are acting is very obvious that they don't want to learn. They're just riding people up on purpose. in the video and in the comments. So yeah, I don't want to be giving more views to people like that, of course. Obviously, I fall victim to those myself. The problem is that he is so dumb that there's no way he's actually that dumb. There's a lot of podcasters who do that. They purposely kind of dumb themselves down, mostly for the audience. I think generally speaking that's okay. But then I don't know what podcast you're talking about specifically. I have a couple of podcasts in mind, and I quite enjoy them. I think they're just a bit of fun, a bit of crack. Hi, Chill. Welcome in. But shouldn't we exploit the algorithm too? That's the other aspect of it, EK. Shouldn't I use moments of rage bait and clickbait to twist it into a positive? And first of all, I ride the algorithm myself, number one. And number two, create something good out of it. But yeah, I'm always so hesitant about doing those kind of things. Like I said, I'm really wary that, you know, I represent my university and I just do so much science outreach for kids. And I know that on my social media, a lot of kids look up to me, which is a weird thing to say. No one should ever look up to me, but yeah. Chelsea, no. We're just talking about ideas about creating content by responding. I look up to Grim. You're so sweet. Are you insinuating that you're shorter than me? Is that why? Is there a joke coming in? Use the second channel. Speaking like Bilbo. After all, why shouldn't I abuse the algorithm? That's good. Okay, so Houston, we have a problem. This is the bottom part of my print, and I'm meant to hold it. I can't hold it. It is way too massive. Jesus Christ on a cracker. What was I thinking? It's twice the size of the power bank needs to be. Okay, it's good that we printed this. It's really good that we did print this, just to kind of get an idea that we were very, very wrong already. If you know what I mean. We were very wrong indeed. Just title everything asking if it was ancient aliens. Ichi, did ancient aliens create the moon? Hacks, chat, you guys are great. You all should be my managers. I don't know if you guys know about this. I am actively looking for agency representation. The couple of things that I thought might be good, they're not getting back to me, but a couple of other agents have responded. But the problem is that I'm such a weird niche of a person. It's really hard for me to find someone to do my work for me as an assistant, basically. So here's the issue. There's two kind of agencies that I fit under perfectly. There's the Twitch one. The Twitch agencies are usually gaming agencies, and they give you sponsorships like gaming setups, things like that. And the other one is a science communication one. And they're usually extremely local. So I would look for an agency that does science communication in Ireland. Now, the problem with that, not just Ireland, I would want them to do it outside of Ireland as well.
Mr. Anderson.
Hi, Tarek. I would love for there to be a tech-based representative. So, like, it's so hard. What I want is someone to be able to organize for me to be a guest judge and supporting performances in sci-fests and science conventions, and, like, you know, get invited to open source or those kind of events, while also dealing with sponsorships like 3D printing and electronics and physics experiments, while also simultaneously dealing with sponsorships via Twitch and getting me to cons like Gamer Fests and Twitch cons and stuff. So I've all of these list of things that I want, and there is no one who does all of those things. There's an agency that does one, and an agency that does the other, and another agency that does the other, and I can't find a middle ground. That's my issue. And for the last year, I've been looking at agencies, but yeah, I don't think I found anyone ideal. I have one on my radar. I've been thinking about them for almost a year now. I might trial them. Because even though they are in one of the pigeonholes, they also have done some stuff in the other parts. So I think that's the best solution. The answer is obvious. You become the agency. The reality is, do you know what I need? I need a PhD student to manage my stuff. You need an agency. Yeah, it's so tough. Tari, congratulations on being a mod for 3 years. Welcome in. Also, YouTube crashed on me, so just be mindful that I might have missed a lot of chat, and I apologize for that. Tofu, do you think that the beings in Hollow Moon are lizards like in Hollow Earth? Oh, no, I'm going to assume they're cheese people, Grim. They have to have something with cheese. Do they have a PR department that might work with? Oh. Yes-ish hacks? Maybe. Yeah. That might be a good place to kind of talk to. But yeah, that's the weird boat I'm in, chat. I can't find representation because unfortunately most agencies are a type. They do a certain thing and they do it well. But unfortunately, I don't want to be pigeonholed. Is that the right term? I keep saying that term, but I'm not sure if that's correct figure of speech. But I don't want to be locked in to be a Twitch agent only. Yep, that is right. Okay. But the thing about agencies is that they've connections. Like, if I were to join a tech people, they have connections to 3D printing people. They have connections to all these tech events. If I do it with an Irish agency, they'll know Irish people and they'll know conventions and stuff and get me involved in those kind of things. It's so hard. I'm so confused. I'm not sure. No representation without taxation. Or is that the July 4th thing? Yeah, we got mixed up, Wombat Hole. That's a different thing. That's the Boston Tea Party. Typecast, exactly. Oh wait, it's the opposite. Maybe that was the joke, Tarek. Yes. So yeah, if one of you knows of a company, or if you are one of those cool people who has connections in the tech world and science communication world that I don't know of, let me know. Or ask Brian Cox or Neil deGrasse Tyson. Brian Cox uses his university, I think. I keep forgetting which uni he works for. Is it Cambridge or forget where he works? Is it Oxford? I think he works with the university. It's Manchester, is it? They're connected directly that way. Yeah, maybe I should ask my university for this. Hmm. Vizzini, probably. Yeah, asking won't hurt. Exactly, asking won't hurt. They're not an agency, but they do have... Yeah, exactly. What I'm looking for is a place that has connections. That can be interconnected somehow. Get me into places. My point is that I've seen that I have... Yeah, like I just can't get my foot into the door in that world because even if I do have more followers and more reach than other creators, I'm nobody still, of course. No one knows who I am. And it's a world of you need to know people. So I wouldn't mind going to an agency and saying, look, I'll do all the sponsorships and everything and you take a cut from me. But I just want an in. I want to do cool stuff. I want to go to parts of the world and do science communication. I want to go to kid festivals. That sounds weird again. I really need to be careful with what I say. But I do want to go to festivals with kids. Again, I'm making this worse. I'm a science communicator. I want to teach kids STEM. Stop misquoting me. That is all I mean. That is all I mean. Good afternoon, Kevin. Too late. Clipped. Because they would start a managing contractual relationship, we would likely include changes to the channel. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I haven't been contacted directly with my university, but my university is very much aware of my social media. But yeah, at the moment, yeah. I suppose I should be careful about talking this on stream, but nothing happened. As of now, nothing really is happening. I don't know. I'm very confused. I need an adult to hold my hand and tell me what I need to do. And the other thing that I need as well is I need a bully in my corner. So I need someone to read my emails for me. And when they're setting up sponsorship deals, to be a bully. I think this might be a personality issue, number one, but also could be a bit of a sexist issue as well. But I feel like I get shafted with sponsorship deals or offers. And because I don't have a backbone, and I realize that I have a problem with that. Because I don't have a backbone and I can't stand up for myself, I feel like most people walk over me because of that. I'm really awkward to talk about money. So I just need someone to be a forefront for me and like make these deals. The uni has their own channel and they're dual stream for education. Oh yeah. So there's a really cool channel, the Texas University one, Pachinko. I don't know if you know that one. It's where, I keep forgetting her name. This absolutely wonderfully eccentric lady does physics demos for kids. That one is really, really cool. And it's the university that shares a lot of her material and stuff. Lab rats, anybody an artist with a baseball bat around here? With the spinning bicycle wheel, yes, the gyroscope demonstration that she does, Alex, that's one of them, yes. Well, I know, I see all her clips with the liquid helium. A lot of the liquid hydrogen, a lot of the demos I do have been inspired by her. She really is an inspiration to me when I do science communication for kids. Like, you need that energy. It's so much, yeah. Did you ever get tired of physics at one point in your career? I'm about to finish and I'm sick of studying. Yes, during my PhD. My PhD killed my love for physics. Becoming a lecturer revived it in me. When I started to learn physics, to teach it. something in me got revived. I realized how beautiful classical physics is, how much fun it is. And I take teaching seriously. So when I do come up with analogies and new ideas and new demos, I try to think of what was I like as a student and what did I struggle with? Because I wasn't a particularly smart student. I was average, if not below, in terms of ability. And I like to think of what did I get wrong in my brain when I first encountered these? And I try to really emphasize these issues to the students so that they don't do the same mistakes as I did. Yeah, but that really, becoming a teacher made me love physics again. Doing research breaks my heart. I can't get past reviewer 2 again. Oh. Oh, I take criticism for those applications so personally as well. I literally have cried because of reviewer 2. Scientific writing, yeah, there we go. Yeah, publishing and funding is what kills my love for science. Anyways, we got distracted. We haven't been doing a whole lot of reading of the moon and back. Sounds cult factory rather than... Oh, sorry, curriculum reading. It took me years to unlearn scientific writing after I left research. The moon is made of cheese. The moon's relatively small iron core, compared to the other rocky planets and the moons in the solar system, is explained by Thea's core mostly merging into that of Earth. The lack of volatiles in the lunar samples is also explained in part by the energy of the collision. The energy liberated during the reacceleration of the material in the orbit around the Earth would have been sufficient to melt a large portion of the moon, leading to the generation of a magma ocean. A newly formed moon orbited at about 1/10 the distance that it does today, and has spiraled outwards because of tidal friction, transferring angular momentum for the rotations of both bodies to the moon's orbital motion. Along the way, the moon's rotation became tidally locked to Earth, so that one side of the moon continuously faces the Earth. Also, the moon would have collided with and incorporated any small pre-existing satellites of Earth, which would have shared the Earth's composition, including the isotopic abundances. The geology of the moon has been since independent of Earth. So the idea is maybe we had a few tiny moons before. Tiny ones. Maybe more than one. But what happened was, in this process, the moon swallowed them all up. I'm glad to hear that, Mythic Frost, listening to the talks all the time and not getting bored. That's really, really good. So the meme is true. Which meme? There's a meme on this? I don't know about this one. A 2012 study on the depletion of zinc isotopes on the moon found evidence for volatile depletion consistent with the giant impact origin for the Earth and the moon. In 2013, a study was released that indicated that the water in the lunar magma is indistinguishable from that in carbonaceous chondrites, and nearly the same as that of the Earth in isotopic composition. Love computer simulations. Yeah, they're really cool. But if the talk is about the same mundane thing, I get easily bored. Yeah, I can understand that. I do try to do that with my lectures, IRL, be more entertaining, to have ideas coming in. I definitely am still a teacher when it comes to being a lecturer. I still have like lesson plans. I don't write them out anymore or anything like that, but I do, before going into a lecture, I quickly revise the material. I don't prepare solutions anymore. I'm a big fan of me solving on the spot, so that the students get to see how a brain thinks and solves on the spot. But I do like to prepare a few demos and how those demos are going to link to the lecture. I try, it doesn't work out most of the time, but I try to do one demo a lecture. I think I'm only at about 50% success rate with that though. I need more demos, new ideas. I need catapults. I did that in calculus too, then got formal complaints. You did demos in calculus too? That's impressive. I need to know what demos you did. And why did you get complained with? Why, sorry, even. Why would anyone complain if a maths lecturer actually actively tried to do fun demos? Do you get the latest textbooks or do you keep using the older ones? I think we get sent all the ebooks, but the physical copies they never send us, no. We just get updated ebooks. It's all e now. And they send you a website or a link to their book with interactive AI learning aids. Needs more explosions every lecture. When e-human, I know, right? Sorry, I'm sure there are great apps and stuff like that on the internet, but it's just the same thing over and over again these days. I'm always... Yeah. Oh, solving problems on the spot. Oh, okay. Wait, why did you get formal complaints? Was it that, like, you were taking too long or you were making too many mistakes or something like that? Oh, I hit a wall, backtracked, fixed it. I have a feeling I know of people complaining that way. Yes, that is a complaint I've heard. I suppose in my case, my problems are a lot shorter. The students said they wanted someone who knew what they were doing. Oh, jeez. That must have really just been salt in the wound, if that makes sense. I think that comes from the fact that when they're taking down notes, they're not listening you to learn. They're there to take down notes for them to study. So if you're solving something and you're making mistakes along the way, they're not happy with the solution that they've written out and like they feel like they've wasted their time. I notice that when I teach, and something that I do with my students is that when I have a problem, I lay out what the problem said and I give an opportunity to my students to solve it by themselves for a minute or two. That's one of my teaching styles that I do. And I notice when I walk around, I give an opportunity to help them and stuff. Most of them, at least half, I would say, do not attempt. And I kind of asked before, I was like, why don't you give it a go? Like, I'll give you a hand, I'll give you the starting line. And they're like, no, I want to wait for the full solution on the board so I can take down really nice notes. They refused to take down notes. Or, they refused to try problems by themselves because they wanted to take down notes the best way or the neatest way possible. Kind of sad to think about. Although I can relate to that, wanting neat notes. It's sad that you sacrifice a moment to try and critically apply everything you learned. Oh, I agree, Duck. Learning is done by doing. I don't know if many people agree with me on that one, but that's the only way I learn. The moon meme comes from Mr. Friend's Cosmic Horror. Would not suggest you watch. No? I think it's a secondary school thing, Mob Farmer. I think when students come into university and like if they want to be scientists, they've had rigor structure all their life. From primary school to secondary school, high school, middle school, you have the rigor. Study this, learn off this, sit the exam. The harder you learn, the more you learn, the better you'll answer. And then when they come into university, and it's not a teacher, it's a lecturer, it's a bit different. But on top of that, if they're going to be scientists, they have to think for themselves. And there's less structure now than ever before. And it's even like, I notice this when students write lab reports. Sometimes people will come up to me and it's like, I don't understand why I didn't get an A. And I was like, oh, well, I gave you examples or like highlighted, you know, in your report what was missing and stuff. They're like, yes, but I don't know what that means. What does that mean? The discussion is lacking details. What details do you want to see? That was very broad. But and very abstract example that I gave you. I'm obviously not going to give specifics or anything like that, but that just shows that they want to be told what they need to do to get the A. It's not necessarily to learn how to solve or learn things on the go or interpret the information on the go. Because I'm a lecturer who gives marks, sometimes full marks for things that are wrong, but as long as it was an original thought. Sometimes they come up with the most crazy conclusions because I try to make them to think. And it's completely wrong, but I have great fun reading it. I need someone to grade and mark my GitHub projects. Will this be on the test? Exactly, Kip. Or at least a huge part of it. Exactly, Call. And it's really hard. You need to, and this sounds bad, you need to break the student, but you need to break their train of thought of studying for the exam, studying for the test. What do you want to see in my lab report for me to get an A? No, I don't, Zero. That's the first time I show it. Anyways, everyone's teaching style is different, and I think that's actually important to note. I know that some lectures, like you guys are saying, are mundane and just reading from the PowerPoint. But you know what? Sometimes, you know, you need a lecturer like that. I'd love to make a video on how to teach physics, but I don't think that's fair. Like I can sit there and say, okay, you need to get the students to solve these kind of problems. You need to give them support here. You need to do demos. But the reality of it is, if you want to be a good teacher, all you need to do is just love your work. I think if you love your life and love work, like loving life might be a bit of a stretch, but it's just incorporating all your hobbies. I had a lecturer who talked about climbing mountains. I have no interest in hiking. Absolutely no interest at all. But the rants and the correlations that he made with mountain climbing all the time was actually so much fun. Just hearing someone be passionate about it and interconnecting them with their own hobbies and their own passions is really, really good. Even if the students don't connect with that, I think just being unique and individual in yourself is really important. Oh, I don't know about that specific incident, but Ivory Coast and Ireland flag stories are constant. And then hopefully university. I wish you the best of luck with that, John. I hope it goes well. Far too many mathematicians love their research and tolerate their students. I read a really good book, well, a novella. It's called a theorem, a novella about a theorem. It's written by a mathematician, and it's about him being a mathematician during his PhD and going to his first conference. It's a nice little short book. But it is funny to see how mathematicians think. There's a lot of correlation with physicists. Reminds me of people, even students, that I do mathematical proofs for fun. Yeah, no, it can be very, very fun. You can get into kind of like what we did with the moon and rogue planets. You can get into rabbit holes with those things. I never got to spend time with them because the working conditions were so bad and they were constantly working 6 jobs just to make ends meet. Jesus. That is horrible to hear, Duck. And this is why it seemed to me like all my accounting teachers seem to hate their job. It's very rigorous in the sense that there's no uniqueness or interpretation in accounting. It is very straightforward. Now that I think about it, all my business lecturers were on the boring side. Yes. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. An oscilloscope, a vision to the electronic world. Thank God they're more affordable. Are they? I don't know. They cost like €500 Wombat Hole. They're expensive. But a past business experience. Yeah, I did business in school as well. Thought the background music was an ice cream truck. My background music is the FTL soundtrack. It's a great roguelike game if you guys are into roguelikes. I'm not into roguelikes and I really like that game. All right, we might pee, make another cup of tea. And I know the science was kind of meh today a little bit, but we might, because this was important to understand the size roughly of what we've printed. Because yeah, it's be like half the size pretty much. And the wall is way too thick because of that. Look at this amount of space the wall is. Like that wall takes up too much space. Where was I? What's the machine at the back? This one, that's a CNC. That one, that's a 3D printer. That one is a 3D printer. And that is a vacuum cleaner. Which machine are you on about? Yes, if you guys are going to be teaching, I definitely would try to get you just to be passionate about what you do. If you're happy, and it doesn't matter if you're cringe or embarrassing, if you're happy doing what you're doing, the students will passively, via osmosis, feel happy with you. At least some of them, maybe. The one between the 3D printer with the lights on, that is the 3D printer. That's the CFS. It's the multicolored thing for the 3D printer. So I'll show you. That's where the 3D printers, and I can print with 4 different colors at the same time. The ice cream truck only plays music when they're out of ice cream. My mom. Fuck off. No way. Did your mom actually say that when you were a kid? Oh my God. That is so sad. Jeez. I'm almost out of words. I'm gonna ask you, how long did it take you to believe that, or to unbelieve that again? Because that's heartbreaking, man. That is actually heartbreaking. Oh, I'll do another stretch. Do another stretch. Oh. Why are you spreading fake news, Tofu? What I want to find, by the way, is I want to find something 3D printed. 2 things. I want to either find someone who has a model of an orrery? I never know how to pronounce that word. Do you know what word I'm referring to, chat? The planet spinny thing, yes. O-R-R-E-Y, I think? E-R-Y. So I want to either find an orrery or something like an orrery, but the one that shows what tidally locked means and what the dark side of the moon means. So if it could even have like an inbuilt light system, that would be really, really cool. But if you guys have a link, an Oreo? Now I want cookies. One of the very earliest childhood memories is running out to catch the ice cream truck and getting the SpongeBob pop. So I want to find a link to a 3D printed orrery with that kind of thing to show that tidal locked thing. That would be really, really cool. So if anyone has a link, please let me know. We're just going to have a look at some stuff online and see if we can find something good. This is nice. It's more of an orrery, but... Oh, and it has the months and everything. That does look cool. Oh, wow. They have a whole YouTube video. So it's pretty accurate as well. So this is what the actual versus the model is. They got pretty damn close. Holy smokes. Can we just rename it to... No, I would like it, yeah. The leg... Well, listen, I can't be bringing a Lego version. So I was on Maker World earlier. I couldn't find anything proper. Is it like a solar system model? It is, but it's more so about like accurate representation of the rate at which they rotate. But another one that I want is maybe just like the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. And to kind of explain what tidally locked is. And to show the dark side of the moon. So to really show a demonstration of the dark side of the moon, what we need is a laser, a big laser. And the reason is because the sun is so far away from us that when the light hits us, we can consider the light rays hitting us in parallel because it's so far away from us. In reality, they're not, obviously. They're diverging, but the sun is so far away, it's in parallel. I don't see a way of building a model of the moon and the sun. Maybe there's something. Showing the dark side of the moon. Demo. Is there like a demo for this? Did someone build something before to show this? I would like to. Can we see if there are any flat earth horrors just for fun? It would be a cool demonstration though, because I think the concept of tidally locked and the dark side of the moon is quite hard for people to understand especially kids when they first see it. So I think a little demonstration, a model would be nice. I know there's simulations like GIFs to show it, but a physical demo would be really good. The issue, again, like I said, is that if you have a light bulb, to kind of make the light come in parallel would be difficult. You do need a laser. It doesn't help. Yeah, like, why is it called the dark side? It's just a side that we'd never see. That's all it is. Yes, it's tidally locked, which means that the moon faces us the exact same way, Chocolate Mints, at any given point. We don't get to see the backside of the moon, other than a handful of people who got to orbit the moon. Nobody else really gets to see the butt of the moon. It keeps it hidden. It's really shy about the butt crack. But we've peaked. Some astronauts have peaked at the butt crack. A flashlight with a collimating lens. I wonder if it's worked. If anyone's done it before. I'm not very good at those kind of things, Drew, so it'd be nice to get someone who's done it. Alright, I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna make a cup of tea. And when do we come back? I think it's time to explore the moons, the stars and planets in Mass Effect Legendary 1. I don't think we're going to finish the game today. I don't know why I thought I was, but I think we're going to clean up a lot of side quests today. I think that'll be the goal. Tarek, if you can. Are we still in Mass Effect 1? Yes. I finished all the major... Sorry for burping. All the major side quests. I'm just exploring the planets right at the moment. How do you get through a lecture without using... My lecture's only 1 hour long. So I pee in between lectures. And I only pee every hour, between every hour and hour and a half on stream. Could you explain tidally locked? I'm not aware, only that we don't see the other side. Well, that's exactly what it means. You said it in your sentence. Basically, what it means is that when the moon is orbiting, I'll grab anything. I'm sacrificing some of my stuff here just for science. I'll show it to you now. I have a big box here with a smiley face, okay? A container. And I'm going to turn the smiley face to me, okay? So I have the moon facing me and it's always smiling in my face. So this is going to be the light side of the moon, supposedly, okay? So when we say moon is tidally locked to us, it means that I'm spinning on my axis. Whee! And the moon is spinning as well. The moon is spinning on its axis and around me, but it's doing so perfectly in sync, tidally locked, that I never get to see the other side of the moon. So let's take the moon, let's take Earth out of the equation. This is what the moon is doing. It is moving in a circle. I think I got it the wrong way. It is moving around on its axis, but it's so perfectly timed that we rotate together. So this is what it means to be tidally locked. It means that we never get to see the dark side, the butt of the moon. It's facing away. It's not actually dark because the sun does hit it and everything at different angles, but we never get to see it from Earth. I'm not sure if I saw all the things you did, but if you're done with the DLCs as well, then I guess mostly you need companion assignments done before the next step of the mission. Yes, I need the companion stuff, but I have loads of stuff to do still. I feel like there's loads of side quests. I think I'm just going to do side quests today. So, where are the arms? So the arms is the gravity. My arms are simulating gravity. All right. I'm going to go pee. I've been holding in my pee for a while. Pee, tea. We'll come back and we will play some wonderful Mass Effect Legendary with my legendary viewers. Everybody take a quick break. Do some jumping jacks. We'll be right back in the action. And the reason it does this usually in all of these examples is because gravity is a very, very rude thing.